So in the introduction video, I mentioned that I got a Schecter guitar, and I said that I would speak more about the gear that I use in this episode. Well, here's the Schecter. This is the Omen Extreme 6, and the amp I'm using is the Boss Katana Mark II, the 100-watt 212 version. And if you want to know more about the amp, I guess you could go to the Studio Reds channel. They definitely will make much more in-depth content about that amp than I could ever dream of making. So why did I choose a Schecter over, maybe one of the big threes, Fender, Gibson, PRS, or some of the more affordable brands like maybe Harley Benton or Firefly, if I remember correctly. Well, for the very simple reason that it is the most sensible choice for a guitar. If you are a hobbyist like myself, and I believe most of you watching this would be, it makes the most sense because if you have a little bit more money to, throw on the guitar, on the equipment, for example, this Omen Extreme 6, I got it for 790 Singapore dollars, and I believe in the States and elsewhere it's 499 USD. So, not an expensive guitar by any stretch of the imagination. The price point, I would say it fits into like the lower mid-tier price point, but the quality that you get from the Schecter and the history of the brand is more than worth that price. If you're not familiar with the brand Schecter and you go like, what the hell is a Schecter? Well, to give you some context, Pete Townsend played the Schecter. Mark Knopfler played the Schecter for a while, and I'm sure there are many other players out there. The current lineup of Schecter guitarists would include people like Schecter Gates, Mick Johnston, of course, the phenomenal Strat player, has 2 lines under the Schecter brand, and of course many others. And if you're into Japanese rock, Japanese metal, Anthem, this hard rocking Japanese band, is practically a Schecter band. The bassist and the guitarist both use Schecters. So yeah, there's some history and there's some quality there. And the workmanship, the craftsmanship is actually pretty good most of the time. The price, the craftsmanship, the material chosen, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And it's good enough to last you, most probably a lifetime if you are just a hobbyist like myself. So yeah, it's the most sensible choice, at least in my mind, in terms of the quality you are getting, the history of the brand, and at this price point. So it is practically a no-brainer for me actually. So what about this particular guitar? So let's have a look at the guitar itself in a bit more detail. As you can see, this is a quilted maple top, veneer, of course. You can't expect a maple cap on a 499 USD guitar, but this is actually a very beautiful quilted maple veneer. I mean, it's definitely come a long way since about 20 years ago, which was the last time that I actually really handled any guitars. And under this veneer is a mahogany body, and the 2 pickups here, these are the Schecter Diamond Plus. If I'm not wrong, the neck is 14.5 output, the bridge is 15.5, according to the Schecter website, if I remember correctly. And then of course the Tunomatic bridge and the string through body, 6 string through. 3 knobs, 2 volume, 1 tone, and this is a push-pull, so you can coil split the humbuckers, through-way toggle switch. Yeah. So quilt maple top, mahogany body, and this is a beautiful rosewood fretboard with the inlay. I can't remember the exact name that Schecter calls this inlay. Yeah. And if I'm not wrong, these are pearloid, some pearloid and mother of pearl combo thing. I'll put up the exact specs on the screen. Yeah. And matching headstock veneer and 3 aside tuning heads. These are non-locking Schecter tuning heads, tuning machines. Beautiful, beautiful veneer. Sorry, my camera work is not so good. I have never shot in this angle before, so but yeah, you can roughly see the how this quilt actually catches the light. Yeah. And on the back, we have this mahogany body, beautiful stain, beautiful paint job on the mahogany. Satin neck, maple neck, beautiful maple as well. To the scarf joint and the headstock. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not really good at, shooting a product review video. But you get the idea. Yeah. Overall, I would say the workmanship is pretty decent. However, I have been a bit unfortunate regarding this particular guitar, this particular piece. I actually tested out the Omen Extreme 6 about a month before I made the purchase. So the actual piece that I tested out was had an even more beautiful top than this one. It was a tighter quilt, and wow, that was just breathtaking, and it was slightly lighter than this guitar. That's not the issue. Why do I say I'm a bit unfortunate with this particular piece? Well, number one, the knobs. Okay, by the way, the Schecter knobs are wired backwards, you can say. This particular knob is actually the bridge volume, and this one is the neck volume. So they are kind of like turned around, and then of course the tone. The knobs. Yeah, the bridge volume knob for me is okay, it works fine, but I don't think you can catch it on video. I don't think it'll come out clear. Anyways, this one, once you turn it all the way about 3/4 down, it starts to get sticky and it sort of like catches. So yeah, and the tone knob, I don't know if it's the knob itself, but it is definitely looser than the volume knobs. So that's one thing. And I'll put up pictures now because I don't think the video will capture it properly. But so in this couple of pictures, you can see that there's some glue marks near the nut. So no biggie. I mean, it can be scraped off. I'll most probably use a razor to scrape it off. And as you can see, the nut itself is slightly off, maybe about 0.3 or half a mm off on the 6th string, on the low E string. And in this next picture, I'm not sure if it can capture it properly, but the scarf joint is actually not sanded down properly. I mean, it could have been sanded down properly in the factory, but after being left in the warehouse for a couple of months, I would presume this piece was set in the warehouse for a couple of months. The scarf joint kind of like became very obvious, and you can feel it very, very clearly when you run your fingers over it. It could be due to being kept in a warehouse and the different rate of expansion and contraction between the two pieces of wood. So that's another thing. And apart from that, I don't think there's any major problems. Now, let's turn this guitar around and let's open it up and take a look, shall we? So it's 5 screws on the back plate. So let's take it out. Okay, it's in quite tight, so let's see. Yep, it's in quite tight. Whoa! This is actually pretty damn tight. Okay. Scratch out a bit of the wood, but yeah, let's see if we can get a closer look. Under the light, there's the push-pull, tone knob. These two are the volume switches, and then the toggle, three-way toggle. So volume ports look like they are Korean made. Can't see anything about the tone port, and the cabling is pretty neat, I would say, although a bit thin, which is expected. You know, skinny wires. It's been a staple of import guitars since, I don't know, 30 years ago. So yeah, very simple setup, quite neatly done. There's a shielding pin inside as well. So yeah, that's the rear of the guitar. And let's flip it back to the front. And there you have it. This is the guitar. So there you have it. That's the Schecter Omen Extreme 6. And yeah, maybe I'm just a bit unlucky about this particular piece, but as I said, doesn't matter. I'm gutting the whole guitar and changing everything in it. And I originally thought about, shooting a video of me, hot rodding this guitar, but after some thought and after trying to set things up to do it, it's not really possible. I've never modded a guitar before, so I need to concentrate, and I'm terrible at multitasking, so I don't think I can handle shooting and modding a guitar at the same time, especially, since it's my first time. So I will try to get some photos of the work that I'm doing on the guitar, and I'll post it up on the next video where I would list out the parts that I'm using and what I did to the guitar. So anyways, here's a bit of a sound test. I mean, I can't play, so pardon the really crappy sound test that I'm putting up. But if you want a really, really good demo of what this guitar can do, I highly recommend. In fact, I will put a link up here and in the description to this channel, John is Just Too Loud, by a fellow Singaporean musician and producer. His name is Johnathan, and he does a really, really, really good review and demo of what this guitar is capable of. So yeah, pop over there, take a look and say hi, say I sent you. So yeah, I guess that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next episode.